This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. It's time for another edition of Money Monday with Foster Financial. And this time we're going to talk about strategy when it comes to finances and your job. And Caleb Doane, the Vice President of Foster Financial, is going to break it all down. Hey there, Caleb.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Good. Okay, so what will we be discussing today? Because I know it's like the age thing. You know, I love a good age number, 59 and a half, 72 and a half, 0.3.
Right, exactly. I know the IRS loves those little half ages for some reason. And one of the important ones that we'll talk about today is something that's available to you at age 59 and a half in most 401k plans.
Okay.
So I think a lot of people probably already know that when you switch jobs, you oftentimes have the ability to roll your 401k over to an IRA with a financial advisor. You also have the ability to roll it into your new 401k at your new company oftentimes too. So people kind of have that dilemma, and there's pros and cons to either option. What some people might not know is that when you turn 59 and a half, the vast majority of 401ks allow you to do what they call an in-service rollover over to an IRA with a financial advisor. And that's where, even if you're still working at that company, let's say you've been there for 25 years and you're still planning on being there for another 10 years, even though you're not retired and you haven't left yet, you can move the funds in that 401k over to an IRA with an advisor to manage. And really the reason why that's available is because 401ks are very good at some things, and they're also not as good at other things. Maybe one of the weaknesses of 401ks is that there's very limited investment options inside of 401k. And the closer that somebody gets to retirement and the older that they get, oftentimes the more unique their needs become. So they might have a unique risk tolerance in there. They might have specific goals where they want income to be generated in retirement for them to be able to take withdrawals. And people know that 401ks don't always have the ability to satisfy all those needs. So they say, hey, even though you're still working here, we're going to allow you to roll this money from your 401k over to a financial advisor to manage professionally, because financial advisors typically have a much broader range of investment options that they can use for those clients.
Interesting. And is it ever a thing to roll over partial 401k? Like, can you keep some of it with your company and then hand it over to the actual advisor? Yeah,
absolutely. There's some folks that say, hey, I really like this certain fund inside my 401k, so I'm going to keep 100 grand in here. I'm going to roll the rest to an IRA with my financial advisor to manage. And I think oftentimes, probably what spurs this on is as people get closer to retirement, typically they get a little bit more conservative with their money. They don't want to be as risky. They want to reduce some of the risk a little bit, but they still want their money to grow. And so the question is, how can I grow my money in a good risk-adjusted way? And sometimes 401ks don't have all the investment options that can be appropriate to be able to reach that goal. And so that's why people like working with financial advisors. If you were to roll your entire 401k over to an IRA, your 401k doesn't close by any means. It just goes back to zero. If you have 500 grand in here, that goes into an IRA, and then you continue contributing to the 401k through your regular payroll deduction. The employer still adds their same match in there. And oftentimes people will do an annual rollover. Well, they'll say, hey, let me roll the big lump sum right now, and then every year, after we've made our contributions, then we'll roll over the additional $10,000 or $15,000 that was contributed in there. And we'll just do that until they retire.
So does it impact how employers invest in or match, the little match thing that they do? Is that impacted if you roll over your 401k?
Nope. You still get kind of the same match that you're able to do, and we always have clients take advantage of that full match. So a lot of times a matching schedule in the 401k might be something like, if you put in, 3%, the employer matches the full 3% into that. And so we always want clients to be taking advantage of that match. It's an immediate, really good return on your money there, 100% if the employer's matching all of it that's going in. And so we still have them take advantage of that match. We just, roll over a portion or all of those funds to an IRA to get managed and invested according to their specific risk tolerance. And it's something that the vast majority of 401k plans offer. Not every 401k plan offers
okay.
it, but it's a really good option to consider if you're 59 and a half or older.
59 and a half.
Yeah, exactly, 59 and a half, yeah.
Okay, so they roll over to an advisor, they look at their options with you. Now, what if they don't like it or they want to go back to their 401k? Is it a thing to roll it back over?
Yeah, it's certainly an option to do that. Yeah, folks can certainly do that. I'd say typically we're going to be aligning on what the investment strategy is before funds roll over.
Right,
so it's
right.
not a surprise when funds roll over what it's going to be invested in. We do kind of back testing, we do an analysis, we do presentation before we roll any funds over, just to make sure it's in the best interest of the client there. But certainly it's something that a lot of people like to take advantage of, and they might not know that they have the ability to do that. People might think that they have to retire or they have to leave that job before they can do a rollover. For most folks, it's an option that's available at 59
is it always the point that when you leave a job, though, you roll over your 401k? Like you don't ever leave it there?
People could, but I think that's probably it may be an issue or an error that we often see, where people will leave jobs, they'll just leave the 401k, and there's kind of a trail of 5 or 6 401ks just from previous jobs that they've left. Because most of the time, if that's the case, those accounts aren't being managed whatsoever. They're not being rebalanced. You're not choosing which investment options. It's just kind of left in the same state as what it was in when you left the job. And so that's why an advisor can make sense to kind of come in there, wrangle a lot of those accounts, consolidate a lot of them, and get a cohesive strategy behind it.
Wow. Okay. Well, they gotta come see you.
The more you know, yeah.
Just see, the more you know. Thank you, Caleb.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you would like more information about Foster Financial, it's so important to take that first step to have this conversation with them to find out all of your financial options. We'll have their website and their phone number listed below, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial.